Should be recording now. Okay, great. So good evening, everyone. We're going to start this meeting of the CPRA Ad Hoc Policies and Procedures Ad Hoc. So we will, our agenda today is to go through the final version, the proposed final version of the procedures manual. And so I actually, other than a few little tweaks that are not substantive, I think, first of all, let me thank Charlotte and Mika for getting this final document together, putting it together and getting it all out to us. So I thank you all for that. I think that it has incorporated everything that we have talked about and had some concerns about, but I think that we can go through. I'll take any concerns and questions, and I can start on the mission statement. As I read through it, it's all one sentence. I think we can make it into two, and I can send some changes on that. But I think it probably should be two sentences because it's basically a whole paragraph with not a stop in between.
Judge, I'm sorry, Commissioner, before you go, I don't know if you realized, but I did add some small information about the disposition of cases. The last review was supposed to just be added charts, but I realized I hadn't distinguished the types of cases.
Okay.
So I highlighted that. And we can kind of go over that before you start at the top, if you want to do that.
Okay, all right then. Where did you put? Okay, where did you put it?
See, maybe I can share my screen and then we can go over it that way.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Can you guys see my screen?
Not, oh, there we go. Yes.
Let's just move it slow. I'm trying to make it a little bigger. Is that big enough?
A little bigger. You can make a little bigger too. That'd be good. Just a smidgen. Okay. That's good.
Okay.
So this is over. Where is this?
This is under the investigator. Well, you know, when you're adding, the pages get all skewed, so yeah. It's difficult to tell what, because it's just showing me section break. But it's okay. It's under the investigative process.
Hold on.
So like they're lettered A, B, C, D, and I added this as E.
Hold on. Let me get. So it's farther down. Intake technician and complaints. Yeah. Where would it be? Give me a big heading somewhere. Okay. Number 2.
Complaint investigations process.
Okay. So hold on. Okay.
It looks about page 30, either page 20, 29 or 30.
Yeah, I'm seeing it at page 20, complaint investigation process.
Okay.
Page 20 of the document that Mika sent out later this afternoon. I mean, this afternoon.
Right. Well, I guess, again, because the way I'm looking at it in the shared document, it's not giving me the pages the same way.
Okay, well, no, that's okay. I'm just saying. Okay. Mika was saying about page 29 or 30, I thought, but it's on page 20 of the document that Mika sent this afternoon.
Well, the subheading that she added, which is a disposition of cases, that one is on page 28.
Okay.
The new section.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was just giving you the heading is Roman numeral 2, complaint investigation process, and then we're going to move down to E. I added this.
Okay. We got C.
Should be highlighted or highlighted.
Okay, we got the D is on page 27, and then you added an E.
Yes.
Okay. E, disposition of cases. Okay. All right.
Okay. So I didn't see these comments. I'm sorry. Okay, so I guess we can address the comments as we go on. But the disposition of cases, so there's 3 different types. And I wanted to specify them. We have during the investigative process, the CI2, the investigator should determine, based on a review and assessment, and in consultation with the CI3, whether the case will result in a full investigation, a summary investigation, or an administrative closure. So I wanted to distinguish what those 3 meant. Should this be the commission or chair? Just the commission or chair?
That pertains to something earlier in the document. If you actually open your screen in the desktop view, then you'll actually have the page numbers and where everything aligns.
Okay.
Right now, you're looking at it through the web browser.
Okay. And how would I do that?
So if you go to the thing that says reviewing,
Okay.
at the top, click, and then at the bottom says open in desktop app. You can close that out if you want.
I can close what out? So the whole thing closed out?
No, no, I was gonna say you can, it says you can close this file now, but you can't because you closed out the Word document.
Click out, but you should probably click continue here, right?
No,
No, don't do that. Click try again. Oh, just put the X, click on the X.
yeah, you can close that whole tab if you want. You're going to go to the Word document, like the Word application. So you see at the bottom where it has Microsoft Word open.
It's still moving. So
No.
you know what, Mika, can you share your screen? Maybe that'll help because I'm really terrible at that. I don't want to hold us up on it. Down here? You mean here?
Yeah, and then open it from there. Yeah, there, it's already open.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Who's controlling the screen now?
Me, I never stop sharing.
Okay, you're back to controlling. Okay.
Okay.
So it's now page 30.
So it's now page 30. Okay.
So if you go to view at the top, or actually review, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a second.
And then, oh, show all markup. Okay, it's there. I think you have a outdated version of Word, so you might want to update that too one day.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure it's syncing. So you're
Okay.
So let's show me your comments or?
it should. I don't yeah. It's the compatibility mode. Anyway, I can delete it because now I understand why this is in. My question here was just why was that whole section bolded?
Oh, okay.
I have a comment. This is Mariano.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I'm under investigative steps, which I think is page 23, number 4. Conducting interviews of sworn employees.
Can we do this? Can we ask if anybody has anything on this new section that was added or?
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah, while we're there on page 30,
Okay.
anything else that you want to tell us, Charlotte, about?
No, just I distinguish the full investigation from a summary investigation and administrative closure. A full investigation of a case requires all of the necessary investigative steps that are described in section C above, which would include all involved in witness officers being interviewed. And it's also completed on a long form template. A summary investigation allows that the requirement for interviews of involved in witness officers may be waived, and it's only appropriate when the existing evidence lends itself to a definitive conclusion, meaning that you can review the body-worn camera and get a definitive answer to what happened without having to interview officers regarding that.
Okay.
And as an administrative closure is appropriate in some cases, when during the course of the investigation is determined that the investigation cannot proceed to a normal investigative conclusion due to certain circumstances, including duplicates. If we didn't catch that in the beginning at the intake stage, the investigator may be investigating and realize that this is already something that's being investigated. That would be an administrative closure. Complaints against subjects who were not sworn OPD employees at the time of the incident. We don't have authority over those investigations. We don't have authority over former sworn employees as well. That would be an administrative closure. Or if the complaint lacks sufficient detail as to the officers involved, or sufficient detail as to the facts surrounding the incident, and the complainant is unavailable or unwilling to provide further clarification, that would make it necessary to investigate the complaint. That could result in an administrative closure. They must be approved by a supervisor, and then that would result in a short form memo. And that's just that I added.
And let me add, with respect to duplicates, I think we need more than the word duplicates there. Something to explain what a duplicate is. Duplicate means that a complaint has already been opened or already submitted. What does is currently under investigation?
Yeah.
Okay, so we should clarify. Just state what we mean by.
I was thinking, do you want me to put it in the definitions or just?
Oh, here, the complaint is a duplicate. The complaint is a duplicate of an existing one or something.
Okay. Did I type that?
Hmm?
I was trying to type again. It's not letting me.
Okay.
But okay, I can put it.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is
Mhm.
again, and right there where it says complaints against former OPD sworn employees. Why are we using employees instead of officers?
Because the charter language says sworn employees.
Okay, because I thought I reviewed the both the charter and the enabling ordinance, and I thought it was more it when it referred to sworn, it referred to officers, because it's a little confusing because there are employees that are non-sworn and they're referred to as employees, but all sworn officers are sworn officers. That's what I thought. I could be wrong.
Right, and I do refer to officers throughout the document as well, but the charter does refer to them as sworn employees. I can put our officers in parentheses if you would feel better about that.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and so under duplicates, we can say the complaint duplicates one already or something. The complaint duplicates one already under investigation or something, or the complaint duplicates another complaint or something simple.
But I want to say duplicates in the definition. Give me a second to think about it.
Just say like maybe any existing or previously investigated complaint. Maybe not existing, but it can be a previously investigated complaint, or I don't know, maybe just that.
The same complaint was previously investigated. Is that what we're trying to say?
But people are.
It's not. It could be a couple of things, but that's just one example of why a case would be a duplicate.
So can you just say including but not limited to pre-existing complaints?
And what? Okay.
And get rid of the word duplicates altogether? And just say pre-existing complaints, complaints against subjects that were not sworn.
So we're saying, okay, an administrative closure in
I'm sorry.
Is appropriate, I'm starting at the top of the sentence where this is going, so an administrative closure is appropriate when during the course, so we got administrative closure inappropriate. So it should be is, right?
Mhm.
Administrative closure is appropriate when during the course of the investigation, it is determined that the investigation cannot proceed to a normal investigative conclusion due to circumstances, including but not limited to
And
the,
Pre-existing complaints.
yeah,
Well, would it be pre-existing complaints or pre-existing adjudicated complaints?
No,
Is-
that's,
Is it possible to have a complaint looked at and then someone else comes up with a nuance to the same complaint? And now on this circumstance, the complaint should be investigated. If I'm making myself clear. The word
so,
duplicates is confusing to me because,
yes, it is very,
you know, I think we do have these simultaneous complaints, right, with IAD and this organization. This, and so someone may think that is duplicate and think there's something wrong with that, but that's normal and natural. Is it possible to have a complaint and then it's adjudicated and then some new evidence comes up and then would that once adjudicated complaint, would it now have life again? Would that be considered a duplicate complaint?
no, that would just be a new complaint.
That would be a brand new complaint.
Yes.
It would not be double jeopardy, in other words. It wouldn't.
But
Okay.
we don't have double jeopardy. If it was closed, then double jeopardy
over.
wouldn't apply anyway.
So if something is closed and new evidence come up, a new complaint can be initiated.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, these are not referring to the same complaints. They're saying if I'm investigating a complaint and I interview an officer or something, and then he's like, I interviewed about this with another investigator, it might come to light that this is already being investigated. We try to catch those in the beginning. So that's what I'm getting at, that kind of duplicate complaint.
So
or even
you're
if it was closed in the beginning and then they file it again with the exact same complaint, then that would be a duplicate.
so if we
It could
say
be
the
a
complaint,
previously, I think it would be a previously reviewed complaint with it would have a different case number. It's possible that it would have a different case number. And so that's why we would call it a duplicate, because maybe the allegations and things on the complaint are the same, but the allegations may be the same on the two complaints, but it's a duplicate. That's what would make it a duplicate.
so we should say that the allegations have previously been made.
Yes.
Or reviewed.
Yeah,
By maybe a different complainant.
or no, it would be the same complainant, right? So John Brown.
I wouldn't
filed-
focus on the complainant. It's mainly the allegation, because 10 people can make the same allegation, but it's more than likely it's just going to be one complaint number assigned to it.
I'm confused now.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I mean, I'm not
so
confused. I know what you mean.
Reggie and I are out together, and something happens. An officer mistreats us or whatever. So Reggie files a complaint against Officer Brown. And then I file a complaint also against Officer Brown, maybe 30 days later, 2 weeks later, or whatever. So when you get that complaint and you start an investigation of Reggie's complaint against Officer Brown, then when you get my complaint against Officer Brown, you would consider that a duplicate?
It wouldn't be a duplicate if you're complaining about what happened to Mr. Lyles. If you're complaining about what happened to you, even if it's the same incident, then no, it's not a duplicate. But if he filed his own complaint and then 30 days later you wanted to file a complaint on his behalf about the same incident, then that would be a duplicate.
Okay. So, so you're gonna be investigating allegations that are made. And if we refer to allegations, so if I, but if I file my complaint and I say that he did X to Reggie and he did Y to me, that's not gonna be a duplicate, even though you may already be investigating. You'll be
Mhm.
investigating Reggie's complaint, but my
Mhm.
complaint may include what was done to Reggie as well as what was done to me.
Yes, you can include what was done to Reggie and what was done to you.
And it won't be a duplicate.
No, what we would probably do is give it to the same person who was investigating Reggie's
Okay.
and have them do both. But your
Okay.
complaints will still be addressed.
And Reggie's would be open. So if we're gonna make it clear to someone in terms of what you mean by a duplicate, we need to kind of spell out under what circumstances an administrative closure would occur. And if it would be if the allegations are currently being investigated or have been investigated, that same allegations, it has to be the same allegations, are currently the subject of another complaint or something like that. Well, let's do this. Let's put a pin in that and try to, and we'll come back to this so we can get some kind of statement about what you, rather than the word duplicate, just putting the word duplicate in is going to raise a lot of questions.
I think just a complaint that's currently under investigation already or something like that.
Yeah.
But it could be closed already. So I don't want to say it's currently under investigation, but I know what you mean. For case allegations, because it could be closed. It could have been closed as a non-mandated case in the beginning, and then someone could file it again. So
So the allegations have previously been investigated, or the allegations were the subject of a prior complaint. The allegations were included in a prior complaint.
Corresponding. Interchangeable.
Hmm.
Equivalent.
It could also be current, right, though? Is that my understanding?
Yes.
Allegations that have been previously included in a prior or current complaint? As in, it's the same allegation for a case that's already being investigated.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So should we say the same allegations? What's a simple statement we could put in there to capture what you consider to be a duplicate complaint?
I think that's what this does.
Current or corresponding complaint.
Allegations that have previously been included in a prior or current complaint.
Okay, does that, Reggie, you were saying responding or something?
No, I was using the word corresponding, but maybe
course.
that's being too wordy. Okay.
Okay, so it could be an administrative closure if the allegations have previously been included in a prior or current complaint.
Yes.
The allegations have been included in a prior or current complaint. The allegations were made in a prior or current complaint. How about that? The allegations were made in a prior or current complaint. And you see that and you find out that these allegations have already been made. And so we're going to administratively close this new complaint.
Mm-hmm. Keep getting them not responding.
I think
just say allegations reviewed in a prior or current complaint.
So why do we want to do it? We want to combine these because it's expeditious, right? To combine the complaints into one.
Well, you want to do it because you've already reached a disposition possibly, or someone is already investigating it.
Yes. So,
yeah. Well, you're not really combining them. One gets closed.
Yeah.
If you file a complaint today and then you file another one with the same allegations next week, you'll have a different complaint number. The second one is going to get closed, so it's not going to get combined. It's going to be closed as what we
Mhm.
would call a duplicate, as an administrative closure.
Yeah.
So they're
Okay.
not combined.
So I think we take out the word that. And so it's just that. So you can get an administrative closure if the investigator determines that allegations of the same allegations, probably that the same allegations were made in a prior or current complaint. The same, so we're just saying the same allegations were made.
Yes.
No, you don't need the cases in which. So you just need the allegations were made in a prior.
But the thing that's being closed is the case. Or the
But you're talking about an administrative closure is appropriate. That's your lead in. If it is determined that the investigation cannot proceed through the normal investigative conclusion due to circumstances, including the allegations were made in a prior or current complaint.
And that justice would be served by investigating only one complaint.
I don't think we need that language, though.
See, we're referring to complaints here. And so I can say a complaint that the allegations were made, to keep it consistent, or a case in which the allegation was made. I don't think we want to just start with.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think
So-
complaint is consistent.
Complaints in which the allegations were made. Okay.
So in the example that you gave, if the victim made a complaint and then a witness to what occurred to the victim made a complaint, then the witness complaint would be closed because the allegation would be the same from the victim. Is that what we're saying?
If the witness is
As
making
an
a
example.
complaint about the victim, absolutely.
Okay,
If they're making
thank
their
you.
own complaint about,
If they're making their own complaint, that's another separate case. But if they were making a complaint about what they witnessed occurring to the victim who's already submitted a complaint, that would be closed.
Yes.
Okay,
But
thank you.
we're closing it because investigating under two complaints would be redundant, correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
So why don't we say that? But that administratively would be redundant to investigate under two case numbers, or to avoid redundancy, we closed one of the cases. Claim which the allegations were made in prior or current complaints, and to avoid redundancy.
To avoid redundancy.
Yes,
or to
period.
avoid duplication of investigations.
I
To
thought we
avoid
didn't-
duplicate investigations.
Yeah, but we want to stay away from duplicate because we do have simultaneous investigations, and that can
No.
be somebody.
Not of the same complaint.
This is just for CPRA. We're not referring to IAD investigations. None of these are referring to IAD investigations. So we don't
Yeah,
have.
but I think when people read this, or when folks read this, they can see, well, this is confusing. If you leave, we want duplicate investigations. We want IAD and CPR investigations. So we want those duplicates. So we want to avoid redundancy for what we do. So let's get rid of duplicates.
Does that sound better for you, to avoid redundancy in CPRA investigations?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I would say just because internally we use the word duplicate, I think we need to use that word, not redundancy.
I would use.
And then when we talk
duplicate.
about investigations with IAD, I think we've been using the word parallel investigations as an organization. So Redundancy, no.
Why no?
Because internally,
Right.
internally, the language that we use is duplicates. And so just so that everyone is understanding the language that's included in this document, duplicate would be the right word to use. It's not referring to parallel or simultaneous investigations. We're only talking about a specific thing here. And it's getting more complicated than what it needs to be.
Yeah.
My God.
I think, Reggie, that we use duplicate investigations. This is an internal CPRA procedures manual. And we're not talking about IAD investigations. We're talking about it, and they can't administratively close an IAD investigation anyway. So this is an administrative closure of a complaint in which the allegations were made in a prior or current complaint to avoid duplication of investigations. So we don't want CPRA to investigate the same complaint 2, 3, or 4 times. Will that work for you, Reggie? You turned off your camera.
Yeah, I turned off my camera because it did not work for me, and I expressed myself. And so I'll stop now.
Okay, then. All right. Let's do, okay. All right. So we can try to, okay then. So now let's move on then. Was there anything else in this section before we go? Okay. Now there are some things and some other sections there. And Mariano, you wanted to go back to which section or which page 23, did you say?
Yeah, but it was referring to a sworn employee, so it's fine. It's just, that's where it was first mentioned, so we're okay. As long as
Oh,
it's
okay.
used sworn / employees / officers.
I don't like slashes. We can
I
put
put it in parentheses.
parentheses. I think we do that.
Could we go back to where we were? There was one thing I remember that I saw in the writing. It was semantical, but
Okay.
some things was capitalized, some things were not capitalized. And I don't know if that was done in error or just,
Okay.
yeah, full
It was over
investigation
on
is
page,
not,
over on page. Okay, go
summary
ahead.
and investigate, summary is capitalized, investigation is not, administrative closure, both capitalized. Is that designed to be that way, or you just passed it? Yeah, right here. Full investigation, should that be capital F, capital I?
It can be capital F, capital.
Yeah.
It's really
Well,
not.
in the
it's
top
not the
paragraph,
Summary and investigation, I thought that was capital S,
Yeah.
capital I.
For number A, oh, I guess the alphabet change. Oh, no, a summary investigation, a summary investigation. So both of those should have initial cap I for investigation. Keep going down into 3. Down
well,
into,
it should just be consistent, like, so if this subject, like for number 1, you can have them both capitalized and then the rest can be lowercase since it's in a title.
but we should just be consistent. Whether they should
Yeah.
either be
Yeah, I would
lowercase.
have lowercase these. These two
Yes.
should, in my opinion, be lower, but.
Okay, then you should do that for all the sections,
Yeah,
as
for
well
some-
as the top paragraph.
Okay.
The top paragraph should all be lowercase then. And I did have another non-substantive comment around that too. In the list we were just talking about, those should be sub-bulleted.
Which one now?
So and then also the line above number 3, a summary investigation is completed on a short IOR. Yeah, so either that needs to be indented over.
Yeah, I know, it's giving me
Okay,
time. I was gonna have Mika fix it up.
okay.
Okay.
And then if you go back down to what we were just talking about.
Can I ask before we leave that, we're going to just do lowercase the word investigation, right?
We're going to lowercase it all except at the title for the 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, then. Okay, good. Summer investigation. Okay. I'm sorry, Angela, where were you now?
For all the including but not limited to, those should all be sub bullets of that prior paragraph. So if you go down further.
Do bullet points for your examples of administrative
Or you
closures.
said, yeah, or so it should be, yeah. I don't know what your bulleting is, but
It's the I, it should be the lower I, but I'm having a terrible time with the. I'm having a so it should be the lower A.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah, that's it.
Okay, great. Good. Mariano, was there anything else that you I
No,
know you're gonna have to get
good.
off.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Can we go back to the beginning now and the mission statement?
Mhm.
Again, I do want that 2 sentences, but we don't have to try to wordsmith it right now. It just needs,
I want to say that previously Commissioner Jackson Castaigne indicated that it should be 1 instead of, I had it 2.
Angela,
That may be it. That may have been early on, but it was suggested that it become 2, but that it become 1. So you want to make it 2 again?
I think we should, this is very, a very long sentence, and I think that we can make it 2, but Pastor Jackie, you have your hand up.
I do, but it's not regarding this section. It's actually the history. So when you all finish wordsmithing this, I can ask my question.
Okay. Okay, then.
Thank you.
Angela, do you want to let's see, I think I have the old version of it. Let's do that. I'll put a pin in it and have Commissioner Jackson Castaigne and I can wordsmith this and make it 2 and then just send it to everybody. How about that?
Yeah, I don't think it should be 1 sentence. It's a whole paragraph.
Now that you look at it, you don't think it should be 1?
No.
Okay, so we'll play with it and wordsmith it and just send it to everybody.
Okay.
Under jurisdiction, I think we should add another sentence there. It might have, we're not going back, but it says the authority of shippers to do this under the code, including complaints filed by non-sworn employees of the Oakland Police Department. I think we should also say that you also investigate complaints as directed by the police commission. The same thing that you say over on page 8 under C. You have that statement. Let's see. Page 8. Page 8, the CPRA mandated duties and responsibilities. And you have your CPRA also investigates under C any other possible misconduct. I think that should be up in your jurisdiction section as well. Maybe the last sentence there. And my other My other suggestions were really more stylistic than anything else. In the definitions and acronyms, just in terms of the formatting, I would put like for example, for body worn camera, I would move the BWC over before the word video. And the same for complaint investigator 3, I'd do the CI1 before the dash, before you do the dash, so that the text of it follows. Maybe we can play with one. So you see where you have BWC
In the,
and the parens, just
And
copy the
quotation
parens and I'm sorry, the quotation marks and that. Move it over to before the word video. So that you have that, and then after the dash, you find the text of it. And that would make it parallel with everything else. The same with complaint investigator 2, the CI2 and quotation marks, you'd move that over before the dash.
after the title,
After
you
the
said
title,
move the dash over.
you move the shorthand, the initials over to before the dash.
After the 2, but. Okay,
Yes, take yeah. After the 2 and before the dash.
Judge Brenda, Mariano,
Yes.
I'm gonna log off from my computer. I'm gonna go on my phone and I'm gonna head over back to home, and I should be back on my computer in about 20 minutes.
Okay, then. All
I'll be
right.
listening. Thank you.
Okay, all right, great, thanks.
It,
Okay, so I
it
would do that.
actually shouldn't even be in quotations, but it should be in parentheses.
True, you could do that, yeah. Change
Okay,
it
you would want it before the dash.
before the dash.
Yeah.
So just have you have allegation dash, a charge, claim, whatever, body worn camera, BWC, paren, the actual body, chief of police, chief, community police review agency, agency or CPRA, we would probably move that over
Okay,
before the dash, so that you don't have acronyms or other words there. And so, yes, I think that, yeah, we'll put them in parentheses instead of quotation marks. And that can be done for all of those where those are. We don't have to do them all tonight. And one substantive change further down when you get to Oakland Police Commission, after the ends, these are all in alphabetical order. So when you get to Oakland Police Commission, next page. These are all in alphabetical order. So your next one over in the ends, who's controlling the screen?
I am, but it's just slow. Yeah, no, it's.
I'm sorry.
I am, but it's just moving slow when I try to type.
Okay. Okay.
Sure that I remember. Every time I start to type, it's like. Every time I start to type, it's like hopefully. All right. And I'm sorry, what was the next page you said?
Over in Oakland Police Commission, under the definition. The next page. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Oakland Police Commission. Again, we'd move commission over, but it says it's comprised of 7 members and 2 alternates. I would say 7 regular members and 2 alternates. So insert the word regular after 7. After there's 7 in parens.
Okay.
And that was really, oh, I know there's one other thing on page 10. Is complaints, and section D, complaints can be filed at the following locations. I know we kind of played around with this and it's not, and it, I think we would say that it said that we wanted any specified OPD location. If we take out the word specified, or we find it's at any OPD location. And
I thought we had visited the City of Oakland website and there was some kind of language that informed the inclusion of specified.
That's what it says on their website.
specify, okay, all right, good. All right, any specify, okay, then that was it. I'm done then. Pastor Jackie, you had something?
I did, and I needed Mariano.
Oh, okay then, okay, well,
For context, and so as I reviewed the document, I believe we had this discussion, so if someone could just enlighten me or refresh my memory, I know that Deacon Chief Lyles was involved in the conversation as well. It was included in the history, and the discussion was around whether or not some reference should be included. I don't remember if it was regarding the writer's issue itself or the actual monitoring. I remember there being lots of discussion and a conclusion drawn, but I'm asking if anyone on the call remembers that context and why the discussion was made not to have a reference or the conclusion. And then I'll know whether or not I actually have a substantive suggestion.
okay.
I know we had the discussion, and I thought Mariano was the one who raised it.
Okay, and what is it that's missing now? I'm sorry.
No, the conversation was around whether or not, Deacon Lyles, are you on?
Chief Lyles?
Is he
Reggie?
muted?
Yes, I just
Okay.
unmuted myself. Yes, I am on.
Okay, do you remember that conversation initially around whether or not to include in the history portion something referencing the monitoring or?
Yeah, I think it was me who brought it up. I brought it
Okay,
up. The
so
purpose,
how did we decide not to do that?
like the discussion about duplicates. I was just totally ignored. I just did a word search on duplicate. This is just a sidebar, and it only appears one time in the document. And it appears on page 31. And that's it. No other time at all. But back to your question, Pastor. I said we need to know the purpose of why we're here, how we got here, and we need to put that in there. And that was the discussion. So that we didn't come, this organization didn't come out of osmosis. It came because it was needed. And one of the episodes of why it was needed, we mentioned the night riders and what we had went through. So I think that kind of historical reference is important.
Okay, thank you. And so I will say this, I will not offer a substantive change without offering myself to help wordsmith it, but I am only here because of recent incidences. And so that section of the history, if we can make that a little bit larger, because I'm leaning in as close as I can.
Okay.
And there is a portion in the history that mentions that oversight or something was expanded, and I think the year was 2002. In July 2002, powers were expanded. What I am suggesting, in light of everything that has just occurred, and because in having to navigate all that has just occurred, there are so many people who are weighing in on the issues like this around misconduct, advocating, speaking, lobbying, who just have absolutely no idea what happened. And I am wondering if it would serve, perhaps not current staff, they're aware, but folks who will be coming in new years after we have all gone, a sentence or something that speaks to what was behind the expansion of those powers in 2002. Because did we go under, was it 2003 that actually the monitoring started?
I
I think it's
it was
2002.
2003.
I think the complaint, yeah, I think the complaint was filed in 2003.
And so I can only assume that part of what informed the expansion of those powers had to do with what was going on in the city with the riders. I just think a sentence or a reference would be important here. And so that is my substantive piece. I can certainly, during the duration of the meeting, try and come up with something. But if
Okay.
that's something that needs to be discussed, because I remember it being discussed heavily, then we can do that. But and the purpose behind it is to really underscore for those who are present and for those who may be incoming, why this agency is so critical to
Mhm.
this city.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm off my soapbox, at least for the next 3 minutes. So I'll wait.
I'm glad you got on that soapbox.
Can I
Thank you.
just say this for a second though, and I know this has been a while, but in the beginning, I started off the history and it was made clear that it was sounding too negative when I mentioned the previous incidents that happened that led up to the changes. And then everyone said that that sounded too negative. We wanted it to be more of a positive. Let's talk
I
about the
remember,
history of
that's why I
CPR.
brought it up.
So
Because
I took all reference to that out to address.
yeah, no,
the
and
concerns that it
all this
sounded
is showing is that you were prophetic during that time.
And
And,
everyone
'cause
didn't
I do
disagree with
remember.
you.
Yeah.
Everyone didn't disagree with you. I want to go on record. I did not disagree with that kind of
Yeah.
thinking. Because as we employ new employees in this regard, if they come in with a blind spot,
Yeah,
with the weight of law enforcement makes folks want to be in concert with law enforcement. And what you're supposed to do is watch law enforcement and protect the public from law enforcement. And so that takes a strong redwood-like backbone. That's the purpose of you being here. Not to make sure that you get along with Mike Raines and everybody and the union and the police rank and file and all that, but to be a watchdog to make sure the standard is kept.
so Miss Charlotte, I say all of that to say, I don't recall what all that was in the original piece, but I concur, we need something. And the reason being, because again, if this is meant to be a living document, not just for those of us who are here now, but to those who are coming in, recent events have proven that history is very important. In the context I will give is I have younger clergy who are at the church who are very into activism, but they have zeal without knowledge. And
Okay.
consequently, they aren't able to give full weight and breadth to the issue with any kind of authority because you fail to understand the issue. In some cases, they were not born. In other cases, they did not live here. So I do think anybody coming from any other city, any other place, any other area needs to know that Oakland is dealing with a unique situation, perhaps not unique for Baltimore or Detroit, but certainly unique to us, given the length of time we've dealt with it. So I'm circling back to echo that you were the prophet among us. And however it was excluded, we repent before you. And if it could just not be maybe as lengthy as it was. And if you have something that, or like I said, I'll be willing to put a sentence together or two in the next 30 minutes, but I do think something needs to go back. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, all right, this is great. Let's Pastor Jackie will wordsmith something and put it in the chat for us to consider. And I
don't see a chat function. If you all have one, I just see the question box that I can't type into. I've been trying to type in the chat all night. And when I go to more, it doesn't show it, but I will try and email something to everyone while we're on.
Okay then. So the chat isn't working?
I don't even see it as an option on my screen.
I don't see it either.
When you click on more, it's not there either.
When I click more, it just says show captions, webinar settings. And I think maybe we would have it if we were perhaps not panelists, but it's not
Oh,
here.
okay, then, okay, maybe that's what's going on. Okay, then, all right.
If
So,
you email it to me, I will include it and share it,
Okay.
share the document. So
and what I'd like to do, I kind of wanted to make this our last meeting. And so that the next thing is to just kind of finalize the document, do the little cleanup
This
editorial
is my
thing.
only thing. That's my only thing. Everything else is grammatical that I figured somebody will catch with a final edit, but this was my only substantive piece. Everything else I was fine with.
Okay, and that's good. I thought I had heard you mention for our next meeting. And so I was just saying that I'm hoping that this will be the last actual meeting and the rest
No,
of
I
it.
meant I would send it during this meeting, so everyone would
I'm
have
sorry,
it.
I'm sorry. See,
Yeah,
I don't
and
have
could
I don't
get it
have my
before
hearing
we-
aid. I don't have my hearing aids in, so I apologize. These old ears and old eyes sometimes. Okay, then. All right, great then. And as I indicated, my plan is to put this sort of like a first read on the March 26th agenda. And so I do hope members of the ad hoc that you all will be attend the meeting by phone and weigh in as I present. Charlotte and I will be presenting this and everything to the police commission and answering questions and everything there. But we hope to we're planning this for the 26th meeting. And while I'm talking about meetings also, Pastor Jackie and others, we are having a forum this Thursday toward the end of the police commission meeting, and it is going to be on the NSA. It's going to be on the NSA ad hoc committee and what we're looking at in terms of post-sustainability period and the kinds of things that we should that we need to include so that Oakland is ready to get out from under the federal monitor and not to have any problems arise. I think that there are some flyers out. I'll make sure, Jackie, Pastor Jackie, that you get a flyer to.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. So, anything else then that we would need to do?
Judge, you and I had a email exchange about the matrix.
Yes, and I have
You said
information.
you wanted to bring that up, so.
Yes, and that was on the body worn camera task force. I mean, ad hoc.
Okay.
And I did get the answer, and it is, as I explained, I was going to send it. I had Officer Cervantes send me the page from the matrix, and the most discipline is 30-day suspension. But as she said, if there are some other violations and one of those other violations include termination, then they can be terminated for the additional stuff. But just a BWC violation is not grounds for termination.
So just so I understand it, we can move on, that if an officer consistently turned off their body worn camera, they cannot be terminated.
There's no termination. Now, whether or not there may be another rule violation, though, there may be another violation that could result in termination.
I'm
That
sorry,
is-
Judge,
that-
but didn't we just work on another document for another
Yes.
committee where it said that if an officer consistently did not turn on their camera, that discipline up to and including, I thought was the language specifically.
Yes, but the include up to and including termination was not an accurate statement of the law, the discipline matrix. And the police department, as I explained, did not want to put something in a policy that was not accurate. They don't want to tell the monitor, for example, that people can be terminated for violating the policy because they can't. That's not provided for. And they didn't want the police union to say, you all are trying to impose some discipline on us, or you're saying you're going to threaten us with discipline, and there's no authority for that discipline. So it now says generally that you are subject to discipline. So whatever the discipline is, for violation of the policy is what they're subject to. I think we all talked about how the discipline matrix needs to be updated, but that's a whole process, and the police officers union and others would be involved in that process of changing the discipline matrix and increasing discipline for various things. And that should be something that's on the list, but right now, termination is not called for. It's not allowed under the discipline matrix just for violation of the body worn camera. It's violation if three or four are habitual turn-offs occur, that's probably a violation of some other policy that combined together could result in termination. But just for the violation itself or BWC is not a terminable offense.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just, again, if somebody's turning off their cameras habitually, they are probably violating 3 or 4 other policies, procedures, general orders, etc. And probably some of those policies, procedures, general orders do provide for termination for that. So anyway, but we should not be talking about this on this meeting, on this ad hoc. But we will
That's why I remain muted. See, I remain muted. Now I'm
sorry?
gonna go being muted.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
You said we should not be talking about it, so I was affirming that that's why I remained muted.
That's why you remain what?
Muted.
I kept my sound off.
Oh,
I'm
that's
muted.
I see, why you remain muted, see? Okay, then. I had my hearing aid on earlier today and then the batteries died, so it's being recharged. So anyway, so we can, one thing we can do is just to air things on the other ad hoc that we're not talking about, is to just set up a quick ad hoc meeting, maybe if people are available in the next, it would have to be probably by Friday latest, because we have to have the, well, that's okay. We'll talk about, I can send out an email asking people if we want to just have a quick ad hoc meeting so people can air any other concerns. But I'm also going to send the discipline matrix around and what Cervantes said about it. Okay, so back to this ad hoc, our next steps will be to okay, Angela?
I do have some other questions or suggestions for this
I'm
document.
sorry?
I do have other questions or suggestions for this document. Are we moving on to next steps?
No, let's go through the document first.
Oh, okay, then I'll wait till we get there.
No, I'm waiting for you. So go ahead. Where else do you want us? You have some. Okay.
Yes, my other comment was on page 6,
6.
where it says under mandated duties and responsibilities.
Okay.
Item,
Wait, page 6.
Page 6.
yes. Item,
That's,
I'm
that's in
sorry,
the
page 8.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, page 8.
Item D, where it says that proposed discipline is submitted to the chief of police and the chair of the commission.
Yes.
So my question is it just the chair or the commission as a whole?
the
Is it the chair and the vice chair?
The
And
charter
then-
language says the chair.
Okay, so it's based on the charter.
Yes,
Okay.
this all comes from the charter. Absolutely.
Thank you. And then going to the charts at the end. These aren't really substantive comments, but stylistic ones, I would say. So for the oversight structure.
Hold on a second. Let's get to the end of it so we can all see the screen.
Okay. This one.
Okay,
So my question was, should it be the Oakland Police Commission? And if so, should that also be OPC in parentheses for consistency? That would be my first question, and the second is around.
okay. So
um,
Oakland Police Commission, paren OPC.
Okay. Nika,
um,
make note of that for me.
And then the second is, so typically when they're like the color scheme, I would associate like the yellow pieces to the yellow parts in the chart above. So I would kind of revisit the color scheme, because you would assume that like everything in red is associated with CPRA because that's the box in red before. It's just like a
What are you talking about?
stylistic thing.
This one?
Yeah, and so I would probably either try to like change these colors or don't. Like, do the colors even mean anything? If they don't, then I just make them.
No.
Yeah, if they don't, then I would probably take them out, because you would assume that like everything in red correlates with everything in the red box above. Same with yellow and green. Does that make sense?
I see, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
It's like,
Um,
it's kind of like just the standard principles of like making a deck. So anything on the preceding slide, the color scheme would correlate with what you're referencing. So I would just get rid of the colors if they don't mean anything.
Okay.
And then my general comments around like when we do the cleanup, I know it's not for this conversation, but I made a couple other comments, just things to look out for, like just consistent font, so that everything's in the same font, and then also like spacing between the paragraphs, and of course like the numbering and indentations, because some have just like a period and then an indent. Some are lettered, some are numbered, some have a parentheses and then a paragraph. So just maybe something to clean up. And it should actually do it automatically if you set up the table of contents in the bullet structure.
It was doing it automatically when I first did it, but I think when I started to share and we were working on it, now it's just difficult to work with. So I usually get it offline and then work on it and then put it back. So,
Okay.
but Mika, do you think you'll be able to remove the colors from that? Because that was already previously made, so we didn't.
I have to look
So-
at it right
Yeah,
now. I'm
so I
thinking
said okay
no,
too, but I'm thinking I don't know if we can either.
because I'm thinking if anything, we would need to change the org chart colors so that it doesn't seem like it's related by the color scheme. But the actual
looks like
complaint
it's a
process.
it looks like it's a copy and pasted image from maybe like another document or from
It
maybe
is.
a PowerPoint slide. So yeah, you'd have to like go to the original document and the editable version and change that. There's also other like flowchart tools that you can just enter the text and it creates it for you, which might be easier too, so you're not doing all of this manually.
All right, we'll figure it out. Okay. Okay, so we'll go through the document and hopefully get it back aligned with the spacing and the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
Anything additional? Angela, you have more?
Oh, sorry, one more thing I do. Do we reference these the oversight structure and the complaint, like, do we reference that in the primary document? Like see appendix A for this chart, or see appendix B for that?
Trying to think. Want to say we,
If not, I don't know the utility of even including it.
Commissioner Harbin Forte wanted us to add it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had wanted it to be in the initial part of the document itself, at the beginning of the document, and that may be one reason to avoid the color scheme conflict. I wanted it at toward the beginning. It could even, I wonder if it could go on page 4, at the bottom of page 4, even under the jurisdiction discussion. But I don't know.
The
Copy that chart with the bubbles.
yeah, you could totally put it there.
Yeah, I would,
As page 5, you're saying?
hmm?
You're saying put it as page 5, or you're saying put it
On
on
page 4, under the jurisdiction.
a small version on page 4?
I'm sorry.
A small version on page 4, you're saying?
Yeah, and it wouldn't have to go at the back at all. If you, yeah, copy and paste it and resize it there on page 4.
Okay.
We got a lot of room at the bottom of page 4 anyway, so we could fill that with that chart.
Okay.
And are you able to copy and paste it now, Mika?
Oh, it's
Or
gonna take me
Charlie?
out. I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna be able to.
The chart. No, that took a lot of maneuvering to get it in there the way it is now. So I'll have to
really?
work out it offline.
Okay, then, all right. Okay. Angela and I are gonna do this. Angela, did you have any additional comments or questions?
Not this time.
Hmm.
I just
Mari-
copied and pasted it in slide 4 for you. So all you have to do is draw the lines.
Mariano, we had a
Yeah.
discussion while you were offline about adding something in the history section.
I heard it.
Oh, you were able to hear it. Okay,
I
good.
heard the discussion. I just couldn't participate. I was just a
Okay.
regular participant. So, but I'm going to wait for Pastor Jackie to bring her wordsmith in, and then I'll make some additions. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Andrew, you still have your hand up. Is there still something else?
No, sorry.
So you said, I'm sorry, Commissioner Jackson Castain, that you put it in on the document already? You said you cut and
Just
pasted?
did, and then I deleted it. Hold on. Let me put it back.
Judge, I'm gonna have to leave. I have another meeting. And
Okay.
I really appreciate the participation and thank you for your leadership.
Hey, thank you so much. And I hope that I will answer questions. We'll call another ad hoc meeting, just a brief one on the BWC policy to just get everybody's questions answered. And but I want to thank you so much for always being on our ad hoc committees and always bringing such a valuable perspective to it. As I said, this is expected to be our last actual meeting, but I hope that you all will be available on the 23rd when we take it to the commission. If all of the ad hoc members are available to be on the phone and everything for the, actually, I forgot, we're in person, shoot. I forget, yeah, our meetings are in person now. So if you can make the meeting on Thursday, the 23rd, all of our commission meetings are back to being live and in person in the city council chambers. But we will present as a group, all of us will present as an ad hoc group and be available to answer questions. Okay, all
Protect
right.
the public.
All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Thank you so much, Reggie. Take care. Bye-bye now.
It's in there
Okay.
now.
It's in there now. Okay,
Yep.
so who's gonna get the screen up? Charlotte?
Did I hit this wrong thing? I'm sure if someone else can do it, it will be a lot quicker. Mika, can you do that for me?
I can do it.
All right, let
I
Angela
was
do.
going to ask you, Commissioner.
There you go.
Okay, so we can
The copy and
resize it
paste.
and bring it in and everything.
Yep, all you have to do is edit it now.
Yeah,
So you want to have the same font as the rest of it. And then you can size it and you can.
and we wanted Oakland Police Commission
Mhm.
and then OPC. And parens. You can
That's
make
just-
that, yeah, you can widen that box too, right? There's no reason why that box needs to be that stunted.
No, it's formatting at this point.
Yeah, so we can bring that out.
You can decide what shape you want.
Did it take out the sentence that you wanted me to add about additional complaints as well? I had it as a separate sentence. Or
I didn't see that unless it's further down.
is it because I was working on it in the Word document?
Did you
Up on this one?
save? Is your auto save on? Because if it's not, then
And
Okay.
all we did was copy and paste the language from that's over on page 8, section C.
I'll play around with the chart because it's also missing the lines.
yeah, you have to draw the lines back in there.
Yeah, so I'll deal
And
with it
probably
later.
take the
Yeah.
colors out too. So.
And we should decide, I know that we have internal affairs under there,
Mhm.
but do we need internal affairs? Do we need a reference to IAD?
Only because we discussed the parallel investigations in the
Okay,
discipline.
okay, okay. Okay. So we'll put that, yeah, we'll put the language in about investigating other complaints as directed by the commission. And then this org chart.
I've sent the email.
I'm sorry.
I've sent the email with proposed language to,
Okay.
I think it may have just gone to Mika. I'm sorry, Mika.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
I thought I replied all.
And you sent it to who? Who do you think you sent it to?
Mika
me.
sent a
I got
draft,
To
and so
Mika?
I replied.
Okay.
And we want this to go in the history section, right?
Yes, Mariano, I think I sent it to you too.
Okay.
It's not as strong as what Charlotte had written for detail, but it does reference if people wanted to Google it, they could.
Okay, thank you.
Where is the
And it would go
The
at
last.
the beginning of wherever you want to place it. I'm really not wedded. I felt it could go either as the opening sentence to the mission, because it feeds right into that, or it could go anywhere else in the document that you all deem fit. I just think there needs to be a reference.
all right. Let's see if we can get the language up on the screen.
Okay, I'll send it. I sent it to you too, I think, Ms. Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yes.
I pasted it in the first paragraph under the history of the Community Police Review Agency. Now I think I messed up the format, but let me try that again.
And Mariano, I think the year is 2003. I'm not sure, but I think it was 2003.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Okay, and so that's another reason why, because there's so many other dates in that first paragraph of the history, I wanted it to be consistent. So it went from 1980 to all the other years, and then gives the context of why the mission of CPRA is so important.
Right. But, you know, actually CPRA did not change from CPRB to CPRA till 2016.
Right, with the measure, like the original language, I looked at the original document, so it had all of that.
Right.
All I wanted to lift up is that
The
part of what prompted, what prompts the seriousness of this agency is it is 2023 and we are still under federal oversight,
yes, the consent decree, yes.
right?
Exactly.
And so because it was completely removed, it was in there before, and so you heard the discussion around that, but I do think a reference needs to be there because you may have staff coming on that don't know anything about.
Exactly.
And then when incidents like what we're dealing with now occurs, they don't understand why
Yes,
parties feel the way they do. So
yes.
So let me ask this. So we would put it between the mission of the CPRB and the paragraph that begins in November 2016. So that would sort of make
well,
it.
let me tell you when let me open the email and tell you how it reads here. So that first paragraph opens and it ends by saying,
I'm sorry.
when it says in 2002, CPRB's powers were expanded. So at the end of that sentence,
Uh-huh.
it could either go there at the end of that first paragraph, or it could begin the second paragraph by saying the Oakland Police Department was placed under federal oversight in 2003 as a result of, it will go there and then say the mission of
Okay.
CPRA is to. So either or somewhere else that someone else deems more appropriate. But I think
Yeah.
that's a sentence that gives enough and then hopefully satisfies those who thought the reference was super negative.
And what I was thinking was that chronologically, it would go probably before the paragraph that about what happened in November 2016. So
Yes, it can. Mhm.
we got in the 1980, we got July 2002, we talk about the mission of CPRA and everything. And
Mhm.
then in 2003, things fell apart.
That will be the natural
Stuff
placement as well.
happened. Stuff happened, and
Right.
then in
Right.
November 2016, we got Measure LL. So it could go there,
Yeah,
but
it could
I'm
go
still
there.
looking for the language. Can anybody put the language up for me on the screen for us?
I did. It should be highlighted in red. The last sentence in the first paragraph.
The language that Pastor Jackie wants to add. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't see the
I don't
screen.
see that. I don't know why.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. Share. Here it is. Okay. Can you see that? Just the last sentence.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to move it up, or however, wherever you place it is fine, but that's the language. The Oakland Police
Okay.
Department was placed under federal oversight in 2003 as a result of an ongoing civil rights lawsuit in federal court involving police misconduct.
But I think the judge is saying put it before the in November 2016 sentence.
So let's put it in, yeah. And we can leave it, yeah.
So do
And
you want
then-
to start the sentence with in 2003?
Yeah, I would start in 2003. And then the paragraph in November 2016 would be a new paragraph. Okay. Will that work for everybody? So 1980, we had this happen. July 2002, CPRB's powers were again expanded. Then the mission of CPRB was to do this. And then in 2003, the police department was placed under federal oversight. And then in November 2016, we had Measure LL. And then we got Measure S1 in 2020. Okay.
Mariano, I know it's mild, but what are your thoughts?
No. I appreciate your input on this, Pastor Jackie. I appreciate that. you know, there's, because it's important, as you stated, you know, and it's not mild. I mean, history can be, as long as it's there, you know, different people can interpret it different ways. One thing I would recommend, and, you know, I can certainly add this later, is that, I think with the expansion, where it says that the Measure IL provided the commission with significant powers to oversee OPD policies. I think that we need to mention in there the independent and authority that not only the commission, but also CPRA has, as opposed to when CPRB existed, because, you know, CPRB had absolutely no teeth. That's all it was a community police review board. And I don't think there was any sustained cases ever under CPRB. And so I think that, you know, we mentioned independence and authority as something new. And like I said, you know, I can add this and send it to either Mika or to whoever you know, is appropriate, and then they can just insert that one sentence.
Well, let's try to work on it, or let's try to, if you're able to try to do something now, that would be good, or then you can send it to the whole committee.
Okay.
And then we can try to see where it can go. But while I don't think we need another meeting, I do think we need buy-in from everybody, even if it's by email.
Sure. Well, I can do that. I can send it to the entire ad hoc.
Okay. And
I
then
just
we
wanna be respectful.
can play with it and
Yeah.
and see. Angela and Kadeli and I can try to figure out what the final iteration can be. And where would you put it?
It would probably be either right before or somewhere in the paragraph where it says in November 2016.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
Okay.
So it will also follow chronological order.
Okay. Okay. Okay, this is good. Okay, anything else? And we'll still have it. It'll still be on one page. And that is good. But Pastor Jackie, are you satisfied, you and Mariano, with sort of the?
Yes, that was the only thing that was standing out for me that was still bothering me. So yes, I feel much better.
And is this language strong enough? You want more meat on it?
No, because I think a simple Google search will unfold anything that people want to know.
We could actually put the name of the case in too.
That would be great. Yeah, that would be great.
Delphine Allen versus the City of Oakland. Yeah. Okay. So we'll add that, and I can give you guys a citation. Well, if we just do the case name, Delphine Allen versus City of Oakland, and others. What else do we need to add? And it is after 7:30. It's 7:37. Anything else that we need to? Anything else that we need to talk about?
I'd love to know how staff feels, if they think there's anything that should be addressed, or are they okay with? Feel okay with what we have currently, minus Mariano's addition and the addition of the case.
I am okay with what we have now also, understanding that when things happen, We will need to make adjustments and additions to it that we'll present, I don't know, I guess to the commission if the ad hoc is no longer in session, but sometimes things come up that you don't know that you need a procedure for until you're kind of faced with it. So, it's going to be a living document.
Okay, yeah, we talked about a separate document for some of those other investigations. Okay. Then I think,
Mika, if you want to just go really quickly to the page 4 again, I just did a smart art chart. So, oh, maybe if you don't have the auto save on, I don't think so. You might have to refresh your screen to see it.
Let me close it and then open it again.
Or I can open mine. I'll share.
It hasn't updated yet and it's asking to resolve a conflict.
Yeah, so I just did like a smart art table, so you can go in and edit it however you want, like the design of it.
Okay.
Look the way you want. So there's all these different types of ways you can make it look. You can do that one, this one, this one.
Okay, that works.
I just did a simple one. And it just needs like an intro sentence that says what this section is about.
do the other one, the other format that you showed. With like the circles or something, or not circles, that one.
This one, yeah, you can do this and add pictures.
Okay,
Do
I guess,
they're just drop downs. You can change the colors, you can add sideways, yeah.
Thank you.
And all you have to do is type it in the set, type the text in, and it just auto produces it. So it's probably easier than creating it in an external document and sticking it in there for formatting purposes. Yeah.
okay, all right,
Just did like a simple one like this.
okay.
Yeah,
Well, if we add
visuals
a
are
sentence
important.
back in that we delete it, will it change the formatting of that or take it
If
out?
you what? Oh, so if you
Sentence
wanted to add another line here, you can do
No,
it.
I mean the sentence that we had to cut and paste from, I believe, page 8 about any other complaints as directed by the commission. I didn't know if it was going to mess up this formatting.
No, I don't think you saved it because otherwise it probably would have shown up.
It'll be fine, Charlotte. I think if anything, we just have to make the chart smaller. If it moves to another page, we'll figure it out.
Okay,
Yeah, you can move it up and down. It doesn't,
yeah, it can go down, so, yeah,
as long as
great.
it's just centered.
So Judge Brenda, I just want to ask a procedural, I heard you mention a first reading, so we're going to, the ad hoc is going to present to the commission on the 26th
Yes,
as a first reading,
and I'm saying like a first reading because I suspect that there will be some suggested changes made to the document.
Okay.
That 23rd, right? You mean?
The 23rd.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, the Thursday.
And then, so the changes just, the CPRA staff makes them, and the ad hoc does not have to come back, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna set another meeting. CPRA staff is
Okay.
gonna make the changes, send it to
Right.
everybody. We'll basically vote by email on the final one, and we have to have things ready to go out. And we're gonna be on the 23rd, so the agenda will go out on the 20th. Actually, they probably will try to send it out the 17th. So,
Okay.
so we have to have everything final so that it can be in the agenda packet. And then again, I
everything
expect,
for me, so that I can help Charlotte, everything needs to be done by the 14th because I'm going out. I'll be out of the
Okay.
office.
okay, and that will be good then. So we'll get, as soon as we get, Mario will give us the language and everything. You guys will do do all the little tweaks that we've talked about. And we will, the sooner you get it out to us, what is today? The 7th, the sooner you get it out to us, if you can get it out to everybody by Friday the 10th, and you guys will just, I mean, you just have the weekend to look at it, and everybody submit any changes on the 13th, by the 13th. Mika can clean it up on the 13th, and then she'll go on her vacation. Charlotte will get it out to everybody.
So there is no conferring with OPD at all, right, on this thing, on this one?
Not on this.
Okay,
Yeah, this is not an OPD policy.
okay, got it.
Yeah. And
And
so we will.
So the last word is the commission. They say
It's gonna
okay?
be the commission, yes.
Okay.
It'll be the commission, and we will, we'll just see. I expect a lot of discussion.
I believe that it goes to the union also, right? If I'm
I'm
not
sorry,
Does it go to the union as well?
I don't think so, but I mean,
I
but
think our union would want to take a look at it.
your union would, yeah. Then that would be probably something that you would do before it goes on the commission agenda, so maybe it won't be
Mhm.
ready for the 23rd.
What union are you referring to?
Local 21.
Oh, SEIU, okay.
So so is this a change in working conditions, or it could be construed as a change in working conditions?
It may be, but I don't see why you guys couldn't take it to the police commission for you guys to review it. We could still send a copy to the union.
And it might be considered a change because since we didn't have written procedures at
Okay.
all, then we weren't holding any investigators responsible for any of this.
Okay.
necessarily, Because
Okay, so so we could have it discussed at the commission meeting, with the understanding that it's still gonna, you may have to do meeting confirmed with the union, and then before you implement all of these procedures. But this will get us also an idea if there are going to need to be some changes. If the commissioners recommend some changes or restructuring, then we'll get their input on the 23rd.
No, I think you're right, Mika, that I think your union needs to be notified because I think someone on this ad hoc recommended that the staff attend at least 2 commission meetings. I don't know who that was, but that's a personnel issue there.
But just so you know, we haven't been holding them, except the things that really needed to get started. We haven't been holding them to this until this was approved. So
Okay.
the 2 meeting rule hasn't really.
Okay, then. Well, then the things can be done simultaneously. So I mean, your input from the union can be done simultaneously with it going to the commission. And then, and I don't even know that the commission will need to approve a final, if there's something dramatically that changes that the union insists on and stuff. But because these are really CPRA procedures and everything, the commission won't have a lot of control over it, but it's kind of like the IG has its own procedures and everything, and so we can't really dictate a lot of stuff, even though we had an ad hoc to go through their policies and procedures. And the ad hoc did approve it. It hasn't been submitted to the commission yet for commission final approval. And I was on that ad hoc. So so sometimes there are legal issues about exactly how much authority we have over some of the internal working conditions kinds of things. Okay.
Perfect.
If any other questions, again, I want to thank all of you for your input. I just really appreciate it. We are just, we had a lot of work to do, but we have something now. We have a manual, and it's long overdue, and hopefully it'll answer a lot of questions and clear up a lot of confusion. But I just want to thank you all, Mariano, Pastor Jackie. Just
Thank you, guys.
incredible. Yeah, I'm
Thank
gonna
you very much.
find another ad hoc for you all as well to get on. to Jackie.
So we thank you for your selection and consideration, and it was certainly a joy meeting all of the staff of CPRA, and certainly support all of the incredible work that you do of making bricks without straw. So if we
Thank
can
you all.
support it anyway, let us know. And Judge, you know, I'll be there for you.
And,
Great,
and in the month of March, where we uplift women, I love seeing all these strong women on the
Yes.
screen. And thank you so much for all your work.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mariano. Charlotte and Mika, I can't thank you enough for everything. Just, you know, you're just incredible, and you all toil under such difficult conditions. And I really appreciate your hard work and your good attitude too. You know, I just really, really appreciate it. I can't tell you how much.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, Jackie's been wonderful with everything. Angela, rather, has been so wonderful with all of her technological skills and everything. You know, she's so tech savvy. She had to open up meetings and everything else. You know, she just knows everything. It's just been a real pleasure. It really, really has been, and you all have made my job easier. I can look good because you all did all the work. You were the wind beneath my wings there. So thank you all. So we can end this meeting. Formally, I can turn off the recording and everything. Pastor Jackie, I do have a question for you before you log off, if you got a few minutes, but we can turn off. Okay, we can
Bye,
turn
everyone.
off the
Have a great
recording.
week.
Thank you all. Have a
Bye.
wonderful, wonderful weekend and evening. And
Bye-bye.
we'll look forward to the proposed final document.
Yes.
We'll see the commissioners, Brenda Harbour-Forte and Angela Jackson Castaigne in person on Thursday.
Yes. First, this will be my first time. Well, Angela's too.
Right.
Because when I
Yeah.
came on in 2020, the meetings were all remote then. So
Yeah. This
Well,
is-
I also don't